Thus, it's time now to look at the top stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers this Thursday, beginning with the Nation newspaper. The lead story there is captioned EFCC traces 7 billion naira fraud cash to religious group as agency uncovers faith-based groups laundering money for terrorists. And to some updates on the kidnap situation in Ekiti State. One of the parents of the children kidnapped is quoted as saying, "I heard my son being beaten, crying when abductors called me." Of course, the story has, since developed to say that the abductors are demanding 100 million naira ransom. Well, this particular dad of one of the pupils is recounting his experience. In the meantime, police and Moteku begin manhunt. We captured that element in our report earlier. Supreme Court lambasts ex-Adamawa resident electoral commissioner Hudu Ari, calling his actions irresponsible and a criminality. Up above the masthead, Otedola is FBN Holdings chairman as Ahmad Abdullahi retires. Government to fix marina, other Lagos shorelines. Third mainland to be ready in April this year. Rumpus in Federal Civil Service over a deployment of permanent secretaries. These are some of the stories dominating the Nation newspaper. First News is reporting still on EFCC uncovering religious sects laundering money for terrorists behind 7 billion naira fraud. The agency also plans fraud risk assessments for Presidency, National Assembly, and others. Port Harcourt Court counters Abuja Court over order on Governor Fubara's Chief of Staff arrest. Another mother of 11 arrested trying to sell sons for 1.8 million naira. Forget 2027 presidency, PDP chieftain Bode George tells Atiku Abubakar. And Labour is quoted as giving reasons as to why we are demanding 400,000 naira new minimum wage. Okay, over now to the Daily Times newspaper. Other stories beyond the EFCC indicting religious bodies for terrorism, money laundering also include Naira redesign reduced customs revenue in 2023. That's according to the Comptroller General. You can get details from the Daily Times newspaper. Court orders arrest of Rivers Chief of Staff over burnt assembly complex. On palliatives, representatives order fire service to refund 48 billion naira to the federal government. And Wike, Minister of the FCT, insists on May the 29th takeoff date for Abuja Light Rail. The blueprint is next. EFCC uncovers religious sect laundering 7 billion naira for terrorists. President Tinubu is quoted as saying associating internet crimes with Nigeria lacks statistical evidence. Police reject 8.5 million naira bribe in Taraba State, arrest suspect. In other news there, former NSA Gusau calls for creation of support structures to tackle terrorism. Police nab 3 Yahoo suspects for defrauding Kaduna Varsity students 60 million naira. On salient news, the EFCC discovery is still dominating the headlines so far. But there are updates, there are other top stories there. One of them is the fire incident recorded at popular Lagos Church household of David, situated along the Adini Jones area of the state. We watched everything burn. This is according to the pastor Shumakide saying there. Now, YouTube shuts down TB Joshua's Emmanuel TV TV channel after BBC documentary. Businessman commits suicide over debt in Ogun State. The Bureau of Statistics says cost of healthy meal per adult rose to 786 naira in December of 2023. Last with me is Daily Independent. CBN goes tough on forex speculation as well as hoarding by banks. Senate summons Apex Bank governor over free fall of the naira. Ahead of the Edo governorship race, the incumbent seeks reconciliation with former governor of Rivers State, Wike, ahead of the Edo PDP gubernatorial primary. Invite Gowon, Obasanjo, Abdul Salami, and others for input against insecurity. Bode George tells Tinubu. And on the Ibadan explosion, Makinde signs order on safe handling of harmful substances. All right, on NIN, FG dispatches evaluation teams to states, distributes enrollment devices. Ibrahim.
Daily Trust is the first with me. Amid security, NEF, Ohaneze, CSOs angry over Tinubu's private trip to Paris. He's on top of the situation, presidency. CSOs Tinubu, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso's exit from ECOWAS poses security threat. What must be done to make the Naira rise again? Renmo Mokri. On Do 2024, Ohun Yeye begins local government errors tour, promises economic rebirth. First Bank Holdings appoints Otedola board chairman. Wike's issue not novel. PDP intact. Governor Fintiri. Religious sect laundering money for terrorists. EFCC. Naira drops to 1,400 to the dollar at official market. Senate summons CBN governor over free fall. BDCs close shops. Next is the leadership newspaper. No insecurity, no negotiation with bandits, Northwest governors vow. Zamfara launches 2,600 community guns. A unitary police force can't secure Nigeria, says General Gusso. Poverty, criminality in North need urgent attention. Shetima. I will not take leadership award for granted. Governor Alia Otedola becomes chairman, FBN Holdings. CBN moves against forex speculation. Holding issues fresh guidelines. Two courts give conflicting orders over arrest of Fubara's chief of staff. And above the masthead, religious sect laundering money for terrorists, EFCC. Benani loses. Supreme Court affirms Fintiri's election. And here again, trending, women arrested for selling two sons in Anambra. I'm talking about numbers. Railway earns 286.78 million naira from cargo. Next is the Vanguard newspaper. CBN clamps down on banks, begs trade assets in Forex. EFCC battles religious sect over 13 billion naira money laundering for terrorists. And also above the nameplate, Ekiti kidnap. Ondo Amotekun deploys 100 personnel, parades 31 suspects. Bandits kidnap two sisters in Abuja, demand 30 million naira ransom. EFCC investigating ex-minister Sirika over Nigeria air deal, Kiyamo. Northwest governors rule out negotiation with terrorists. That's about it for the Vanguard newspaper. Next is this Nigeria. Naira free fall is the kicker, and the headline reads, Senate summons CBN governor on state of economy. And the riders, as currency plunges further to 1,520 naira to the dollar, Apex Bank rolls out fresh guidelines to commercial banks. Court orders arrest of Fubara's chief of staff over Rivers Assembly vandalism. Now, federal government to extend ban on single-use plastics, styrofoam to MDAs. Wike tolls road, rail projects assures of completion by May. EFCC exposes religious body laundering money for terrorists, traces 7 billion naira to another organization, says 30 billion naira fleeced out of the country already. And on the ear of the newspaper, reps direct Federal Fire Service to refund 1.48 billion naira COVID-19 funds. Next is Nigeria News Direct. Naira depreciation. CBN sets new foreign currency exposure limit for commercial banks. Accuses banks of holding FX to increase profits. Court orders arrest of Fubara's chief of staff, 5 others. Insecurity. Zamfara State establishes security outfit. And then above the masthead, Bodija explosion. Makinde signs executive order on safe handling of harmful substances. Gombe to raise 30 billion naira from green bonds issuance. Ogun appoints ambassadors to drive investments into state. That's about it for the Nigerian News Direct. Next is the Guardian newspaper. CBN frantically tightens news on banks' FX operations, speculators. You see that on page 6. EFCC traces 7 billion naira to religious bodies, alleges faith leaders laundering funds for terrorists. Monarchs killing. Oni George call for community policing, inputs of ex-service chiefs. 1 in every 10 extremely poor people or poor persons live in Nigeria, says World Bank. Northern groups tackle Tinubu over withdrawal of 3 nations from ECOWAS. Reps set December 2025 to deliver new constitution. Women protesters in Nasarawa to pay 500,000 naira bail after 12 days incarceration. Poor preparation, logistics, student loan scheme. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. Next is the Punch newspaper. CBN orders banks to sell excess dollars in 24 hours. Banks may sell over $5 billion, says official. Cardoso faces Senate on Tuesday over Naira 4. House of David loses multi-million Naira Lagos church to fire. And then Ekiti Obas threaten to invoke Yoruba gods against kidnappers while they're waiting. Makinde gives companies with explosives 72-hour ultimatum. And last but not least, Business Day newspaper is next. Anger, misery rise across Nigeria as Naira free fall worsens. CBN's new FX rules seen boosting Naira dollar supply. Gas shortage cast doubt on $25 billion Nigeria-Morocco pipeline. Federal government's debt service to revenue ratio hits 4-year low. That's about it for the newspapers up for review with me this morning. Kemi.
Oh my goodness, Ibrahim. I heard what you said in reaction to the threat by traditionalists, Yoruba traditionalists, to invoke, what did they call it again?
The gods? To invoke Yoruba gods.
Against kidnappers. And yes, so the instant question, I don't blame you for that response, by the way, is why are they waiting in the bid for a quick fix?
Get them stricken by thunder, by whatever it is, or by measles or anything. Just do what you have to do.
Once and for all.
No time to save time.
No time. And, this is also going to be another crucial portion of the show today, talking about battling insecurity. The Southwest, too, has also been somewhat reeling from these disturbing reports. And we will have some time to talk about this with an array of guests.